BC, welcome back. This is Mike. I'm at HubTunes. Is that how I say it? No, this is HubTunes. I'm Mike. Uh, Thanks for watching. Thanks for keeping up. Thanks for doing the contest. It was a lot of fun. You guys had some great videos. I wanted to welcome a whole bunch of new subs that have come in the last couple of weeks. Welcome to a video where I talk about records and music, and I'm not an expert on any of it. So enjoy. It's lots of fun. So yes, welcome. I'm still amazed that people are actually watching. So welcome, and let's get on with this. I'm going to do a video today of, I should have done this probably back in June, but I didn't. This is my favorite records of my favorite new releases of 2021. I did one for 2020. You guys can go back. It's on a playlist. 2021 was a year really of the return of a lot of like older bands making music again. We had the Psychedelic Furs with probably one of their best albums ever. The Boomtown Rats had a solid record in 2020. The Pretenders had a great record. So 2021 is completely different. I've discovered more bands and artists that I didn't really know before. And there's some new guys just putting out great albums. So it's kind of been a little different. I'm always on the lookout for new bands and stuff like that. Always seeing live bands, that I've never heard of. So, I mean, I don't know. We got some good stuff here. So 2021's off to a great start. I mean, it's almost half over. It's over half over. So let's just get right into it. You don't want to hear me babble. These are in no particular order. But this first one actually might be my favorite. This is Matt Berry, singer, songwriter. Somebody told me he's a comedian. He's also an actor. I was very unfamiliar with him until I heard this album. It's very folky, psychedelic, a little poppy psychedelic. This is called The Blue Elephant. It's on blue vinyl. This is a really good album. I've checked out some of his other stuff. Also, really a really interesting artist. I never heard of him before. I don't like some of his older stuff as much as I like this. This is by far my favorite of everything that I've listened to of his. This is The Blue Elephant by Matt Berry. Next up, if you guys saw my most recent vinyl finds, I showed this because this was a Norman Maslow suggestion. He showed this in one of his videos. This is the Night Beats. This is also probably in my top 2 or 3 records of the year. This is unreal. This is great. Just fun, psychedelic pop, little folky, very similar to the Matt Berry record. The artwork on this is tremendous. The packaging on this, I absolutely love. They did such a great job with this. I mean, it's got printed in, I don't know. Stuff like that makes me think they care. Great inner sleeves. The songs listed on there. Really cool. It's on white vinyl. Not that matters. But still, it looks great with the packaging. It's really cool. Great record. Check them out. This is the Night Beats. Highly recommend that. Also, of course, I highly recommend everything that's on this video. Slater Kinney came back this year with a new album, not produced by St. Vincent. This is Path to Wellness. They are on tour right now with Wilco opening. They're doing a co-headliner tour. They self-produced this. It's I wouldn't say they're back to their like original sound. It's kind of a combination of what they learned from St. Vincent and keeping true to their roots. It's good. It's solid. It's a really solid record. I'm really enjoying it. going to see them in a few nights, actually. By the time I post this, yeah, going to see them open for Wilco. Next one, this was an accidental find. I was just happened to be going through a website, just looking for records and things and stuff that sounded interesting, and this popped up. This is the Magic Castles Sun Rain. This is also psychedelic folk, very jangly, very much like the Byrds. That would be my best comparison. So there's a couple songs that sound exactly like the Byrds. This is on gold vinyl. Really cool band. I believe they're out of Minneapolis. I highly recommend these guys also if you like the Byrds and jangle, psychedelic jangly pop. This is pretty cool. This is Magic Castles Sun Rain. This one, a great record also. Julianna Hatfield, she's back with a new album of all original material. Her last couple albums have been covers. She did a covers album of The Police, and I think she did one of Olivia Newton-John. The Police one is great. The Olivia Newton-John one is kind of, it's got a couple. There's a couple of songs on it. She does Magic, which is kind of cool. But this is all original material. It is called Blood, and it rocks. She's really cool. It's on a pretty cool blood splattered vinyl. I believe what they call it. Great record, really good record. Just back to her true form of original written material. It rocks. There's some really cool guitar work in here. She's terrific. So this is Julianna Hatfield, Blood. You knew this was gonna come. This is Gary Newman's new album, Intruder. With a little autograph there. I got the gold copy. I'm showing you gold. It's got a pretty cool inner label there. Solid album. Not as good as his previous two records. I like it. It's hard to beat. It's hard to beat Splinter and Savage, his previous two albums. Those are just absolute masterpieces. But this is Intruder by Gary Newman. Check it out. Droney, if you like Nine Inch Nails, you're gonna love this record. It's really kind of his wheelhouse these days, is like Nine Inch Newman. It's pretty cool. I'll show you this one next. This is, gosh, this already got dinged up and I've only had it for a couple weeks. This is John Grant, the boy from Michigan. John Grant is a American singer-songwriter who has traveled all over the world. He grew up in Michigan. I believe he ended up moving to Finland and Russia at some point in his life. Spent a lot of time in Russia. He's based out of the UK at this point. Really interesting singer-songwriter. I featured him in my LGBTQ video. He is absolutely terrific. This is the box set of his most recent album. This is Velvet. I love John Grant, so I kind of, there's some playing cards that everybody needs. There's a beautiful book. He's also a really good photographer. His Instagram is terrific. I highly recommend following him on Instagram. He just does some really cool photography. This book is all his photography. And then there are prints, which I guess you just pay extra for. And this is pretty cool. He's an artist too. He does all his own artwork for the album covers. And then got a beautiful It's on black vinyl, but it's a gorgeous, glossy, high gloss, as you can tell. Gatefold, absolutely beautiful. All his albums have terrific artwork. They're packaged beautifully. They're not cheap, but they are well worth it, and the sound quality is stunning, absolutely stunning on all his albums. This is probably this might be his 5th album, so I highly recommend his album Queen of Denmark, which is, I believe, his first solo album. He was in a band called the Czars. They only made, I think, 1 album, maybe 2, but they were pretty cool. He's got a great voice, very similar to Matt from The National, but he does more. He gets a little more funky on albums like this, and his album before this gets a little bit more poppy. Not so much poppy, but a little less piano and more keyboards. A little more light sound to it. But this is a pretty heavy album. This is pretty heavy. Interesting childhood if you listen to the lyrics and stuff. So John Grant, Boy from Michigan. Next up is a jazz release, a surprise jazz release. I had no idea this was coming. This is absolutely stunning. If you guys like jazz, this is Floating Points, Pharoah Sanders and the London Symphony Orchestra. This is out there. If you like free jazz, it's pretty free. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'm not the biggest free jazz person, but I fell in love with this when I first heard it. It's really good, and the sound quality is excellent. So that's Pharoah Sanders. An album. Oh, I love this record. This is Tinder Sticks. This is probably like their 10th or 12th album. Very low-key, mellow. His vocals are almost, I don't want to say spoken word, but they're really slow, and a spoken word will scare people away, but it's really interesting music. I adore this band, and this new album on blue vinyl, this is called Distractions. There's only a few songs on it, but because they're all pretty long, but wonderful record. Tinder Sticks, Distractions. Next up, this is a great band. I just discovered this band. This is probably back in all these notifications. I discovered this early in the year. This is Goat Girl. This is their 2nd album. This is called On All Fours. This is the better of the two. They're both excellent, but this is definitely my favorite of the two. I hope they tour. I have not seen anything about them touring to support this album because it came out in the middle of the pandemic. We're still in the middle. But I was really hoping that they would announce a tour as soon as things started to open up. It's got cool artwork too. Check that out. Yeah, really cool band. A bunch of girls. I think there's 3 girls and one. I think the drummer might be a guy. Excellent band. I highly recommend both their albums, but this one is probably my favorite. Next up and last is an album that came out like right at the turn of the year. This is called Django Django. This is, what is it called? It's called the Dark. This is a pretty cool band. They had a couple of semi-hits probably 4 or 5 years ago. I like their other albums better. This isn't my favorite. It's on clear vinyl. This is not my favorite of their albums, but it's still really a really good listen. I enjoy it. It's very poppy, very repetitive in their choruses, and yeah, they're really interesting. I like them a lot. Not an album that I would start off with. I would probably start off with some of their earlier stuff. They're a little more accessible, but really cool. Really cool. This is Django Django, and I think that's it. So that's my recap of my favorite records so far in 2021. It's an interesting year. You know, a lot of good young bands out there, and you know, for these people who tell me that there's no good music nowadays, fuck you. There's so much good music out there. You just got to look for it. It's not going to be on MTV. It's not going to be on the radio every single day. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on streaming sites. It's going to be. You got to go see them live. Go see opening bands. I saw a band the other day that their opening band was great, absolutely great, and nobody was even there. There were like 15 people. And so, you know, you got to do stuff like that. And now that things are opening up a little bit, you know, get vaccinated, put your mask on, and go to a fucking concert. Have a great day.